How's it going, everybody? CJ here. Back in another video. We're doing another first thoughts today. This first thought is on Alibou, Ancient Witness. Before we hop into it, though, remember, hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Comment down below what you're doing with Alibou, and if there's any cool interactions that I missed that you found, so that way anyone looking at this video can see those interactions. That way when they build a deck, they know. We got the TCG player affiliate link down below. If you buy any cards you've seen me talk about in this video, buy them through there. Helps out the channel. You can also support the channel through our Patreon, which is also linked down below. We also have the Discord down below, and we have the Twitter down below, and we have the Twitch down below, and you should check all that stuff out. And we're going to hop into this. So, Alibou, Ancient Witness. This card's pretty cool. The artifact creatures you control have haste clause. Is nice. It's a very nice little addition. The main thing, though, is definitely the whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, he deals X damage to any target, and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control. So it's going to be very easy to make a very high number of tapped artifacts. And so you can start dealing damage directly to players, use great removal. You can just scry and set up your draws for like multiple turns. He seems very, very good. Like very powerful. And it's a whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack. So you can just attack with like a single Thopter, and for the whatever number of tapped artifacts you control, that's how much you'll do for X. So that seems pretty good. So first thing I want to talk about is Mycosynth Lattice, because this card is bonkers in this deck. Make everything into artifacts, so all your lands that are tapped, anything that you have tapped counts towards this X. So that's killer. Plus you can throw in some win cons with Mycosynth Lattice, being Karn Hellkite Tyrant. You got Vandal Blast, Karn the Great Creator, Hellkite Tyrant, and Vandal Blast. All those. Very good. Steal everything, blow everything up, or stop your opponents from doing anything. Fun stuff. Now, also throw in Inspiring Statuary, because that way you can tap your any artifacts for mana, basically. And doing so just lets you tapped artifacts and easier casting spells. Seems good. You're going to want to run a ton of mana rocks, because every mana rock that you have adds to X. So all the ramp in this deck should be mana rock. You should load the deck up with as many as you can. Any cheap mana rock you can find, dump it in here. Seems really good. And if you do that, you might as well throw in Unwinding Clock, so that way you can untap all your mana rocks during your opponent's turns, and then you can cast instants when you need to. Seems pretty solid. And along with those mana rocks, you can throw in the artifact lands, because they'll serve pretty much the same purpose. You can throw in Basilisk Collar. That way you get both lifelink, so you can pad your life total, and Death Touch. So, because Alibou is the one dealing damage. So if you give it lifelink and Death Touch, it'll kill anything and you'll gain that much life. That seems pretty solid. And you can even pump that up a little higher to Grafted Exoskeleton, so you can infect people and win the game through infect very, very easily, I've got to add, because you're going to be able to tap a lot of artifacts very easily. You can throw in your Battle Sphere just to add a lot of artifacts to the board very quickly, and a good way to tap your artifacts. Throw in, especially if you make a lot of Mirror tokens, seems really good. Throwing in the God Pharaoh seems like a good include in the deck, especially if you go in a heavier token route, because the more tapped creatures you control, you can deal extra damage, and that seems solid. You got Girapert Aether Grid, which lets you tap 2 untapped artifacts to deal damage to anywhere, creature or player. So you can basically just use it as a tap outlet and just ping around a little bit, so that way you can get some extra damage off too. Clock of Omens, another tap outlet, and you can untap important things. You got Helm of the Host, because who doesn't want to do this twice? Or 3 times, or however many times, and that adds to your artifact count. That seems really solid. You got Blinkmoth Urn to create a lot of mana, because you're already going to have a ton of artifacts in play. Kadoltha Forge Master to tutor any artifact you really need out of your deck. And Reconnaissance, so if you don't have any other creatures in play, you don't actually have to. Reconnaissance and Maze of Ith. So if you don't have any creatures in play and you have to attack with Alibou, that way you can keep Alibou safe if you need to. And you can also throw in stuff like Chief of the Foundry and Steel Overseer to pump up the power and toughness of your artifact creatures. Dark Steel Forge to give everything indestructible. That seems great. Leonid Abunis, Indomitable Archangel, so that way your opponents can't target your stuff. Also seems very good. You got Joyrus Familiar to make your artifacts cheaper. Aethersworn Canonist is a good card because that way you can just kind of tax your opponents while it doesn't really hurt you because you're going to be casting a lot of artifacts anyways. Loyal Apprentice, just to give you more token creation and repetitive effects with the haste. Always good to have repetitive effects. You got Mystic Forge, which is a really cool card in this deck. Lets you cast stuff off the top of your library, generate a lot of value. You can also use Forsaken Monument if you're going to be going really heavy into artifacts and throwing a bunch of colorless lands. That way you can basically double your mana, gain a lot of life, and buff up all your creature tokens. That seems really powerful. What else we got here? Some decent artifacts to throw in that just have tap abilities. There's tons out there, and I just picked a few that I thought would be fun. Trading Post can be pretty fun. Same thing with Retrofitter Foundry. Staff of Nin, just card draw and an additional pinger, and you're doing a lot of direct damage, so that seems pretty on theme. Azor's Gateway is a really cool card draw engine, and Springleaf Drum seems like a great ramp card in this deck because it casts 2 artifacts being tapped for, like if you tap an artifact creature in Springleaf Drum to make mana, that's 2 artifacts being tapped, which is a win-win. And you're going to probably, there's a good chance you're going to be running a lot of token creation in this deck. So you can throw in Anointed Procession to aid that token creation. There's so much artifact creature token creation. I'm not going to get into that very much. Like, there's just a lot. There's a lot. So you can kind of decide the exact way you want to take it yourself. You also run Lithoform Engine in Stronic Resonators, so that way you can copy the trigger. So if you don't have Helm of the Host in play, it's another good way to double it up, and they also will tap. So I believe the copy will read like, actually no, they should both see both these getting tapped, like one of these getting tapped. So if you have Lithoform Engine, your trigger goes in the stack. Then the copy will see Lithoform Engine tapped, but the original I don't think will. But still, great card in this deck. And another way you can take this deck is Golem Tribal, which could be kind of funny. You could do, like, I'm just going to read off some good Golem cards. And I definitely somebody that definitely should have pulled up, and I didn't think to do so. You got Bosch, which is just a very solid card. It's a good way to deal more direct damage. You've got Conversion Chamber, which lets you slowly make Golem tokens. You got Dread Statuary, which is a land that turns into a Golem. You got Geode Golem, so that way you can pull your commander into play for free. Golden Guardian, which is a Golem that flips into a land that makes Golems, which seems really powerful. You got Golem Foundry, which I did not remember, but judging by the name, I'm assuming it just makes Golems. And it does, and you can get charge counters on it by casting artifacts, so that's really synergistic. Guardian Idol, just a mana dork that turns into a Golem. You got Master Splicer to give your Golems +1/+1. I believe, right? Master Splicer is a +1/+1, I think. Yeah. You also throw in Blade Splicer to give them first strike. You can throw in Splicer's Skill to create more artifact creature, more Golem tokens, and Sensor Splicer to give them vigilance. You've also got Phyrexian Triniform, which is just a really big Golem that makes little Golems. You got Precursor Golem, so you can do some shenanigans that like if you target a Precursor Golem, then all Golems if you target Precursor Golem with an instant or sorcery, you copy it for all Golems you control. So you can go some cool shenanigans with that. Blightsteel Colossus and Darksteel Colossus, they're both Golems. They seem pretty solid, especially with haste. You got Lodestone Golem, another really good Staxy card that works very well in the deck. Platinum Empyrean, just big Golem that's got a strong effect for you. And Solemn Simulacrum, the poor sad boy, also a Golem. Seems fitting for the deck. And that is what I have for Alibou Ancient Witness. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Peace out, everybody.